Um, And I'd like to welcome the members. Tripp and I've been before. Diane, I think you're
I was-
new and also
Knew the last
Yep,
time.
I'm District 3.
you're District 3 and you're
Five.
District 5. And he'll be District 1, right?
Yes.
Okay, what's your pleasure, Holly? I think we have a quorum.
Yep. So
So,
we need to do a motion for the approval of the minute.
okay, I move that we approve the minutes from the meeting July 25th, 2017.
A second.
There's no old business. All right, so for new business, I will open the floor for chairman and then turn the meeting back over to whoever gets elected for chairman. So floor is now open for nominations for the position of chairman.
I nominate
Janet Ashman.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Any other nominations?
I move the nomination be closed for president. We need to vote on that.
Yep. So we'll take a vote to nominate Ms. Ashman as chairman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. All right, Ms. Ashman.
All right, let's look at vice chairman. Do I have a nomination for vice chairman? Can the chairman nominate someone?
Yeah.
I nominate Tripp Poor. I guess it's David Poor, right?
Yes.
I kept looking, I thought, I don't see that person. I second the motion on the nomination.
Again, I move that nomination be closed.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay.
All right, so you'll see in your packet, I put the current bylaws, which are just a front and back sheet, along with the legal review that our county attorney Jeff Moore did. There's nothing really substantial that he suggested. Everything he put in red are just sections of the state code that he thought would be helpful to insert. So I wanted to bring those before you all and make sure you didn't have any issues. The one major thing that is new is that he put an allowance for remote participation. That's now allowed by state code because of COVID. So he added that provision in there just in case this keeps going on and we have to meet virtually. So we added that in there for Article 2. There is one thing that he pointed out. If you go to section 3-7, it says the board shall notify the interested parties and the zoning administrator of the decision within 90 days of the date on which the application or appeal was filed. And he suggested changing that to 60 or 30 days instead of 90. So I'll need some feedback from you all of what you would like to change that to or leave it the way it is.
And that's after we make the decision, correct?
Yes.
And interested parties, is that determined by, I guess, just being an adjacent parcel? Or is there a process where interested parties could voice a concern even though they're not an adjacent?
Yes, yes. Yep, that as well, even if they're not an adjoiner.
Okay.
Okay. And the zoning administrator of the decision.
Yeah, I guess
When
that,
we vote on it, don't you know the decision?
One would think, but I guess this is a
but
formal.
it's a formal thing of,
notification
to make
them
sure they
saying
get
this action is
notified
taken.
and how quick they get notified.
That's right.
I mean, I don't see
Have we
why
been
30
doing that?
days shouldn't be.
We haven't done that.
Well, the secretary would do it. So I would guess whoever is normally has been me would have been the one to do it.
Okay.
They would have sent those letters out.
Do you see any reason why 30 days isn't sufficient to do all that? Okay. Well, I move that we include that for sure.
Okay.
I don't know, do we need to do these individually? Just wait till all of them?
No, you can make a motion to accept the changes that were proposed in the legal review.
Is there anywhere in here where it talks about the time frame from the point where the citizen files the appeal and we act?
Yes. Because there is, I think that was 90 days. Where did I read that? Because there is a time frame.
So I was gonna say 30 days isn't long enough.
No.
That's the time between which you
Well, citizen Q files appeal.
said? Right.
And how long do we have to?
Oh, okay, before we have to make,
Visit the site, hold the meeting,
Right,
make the
okay.
decision.
So it says the board shall fix a reasonable time for the hearing of an application or appeal, give public notice, and make its decision within 90 days of the filing of the application. So that, yeah, that's section 3.1, the second.
We can
paragraph.
usually do that sooner than not.
Yeah, if I get one, I'm gonna call a meeting for the following month.
right.
Because that leaves the person hanging with whatever
Right.
plans they may have.
And I feel like generally when these kind of cases come up, somebody's attempting to apply for some kind of building permit, so they're ready to get rolling.
So you're saying this, where is that? In 3.1 in this document?
Yep, the second paragraph.
Okay. And it says 90 days?
Yes,
I guess I keep looking for the like 9-0.
I know, it's spelled.
Second
wrong.
line, the end.
Okay, yeah.
So you're in the red part.
Yes,
Okay, yeah.
yep, the first and second sentence in the last paragraph under section 3.1.
Well, for Diana Russell's interest, we rarely meet, you know.
Right, only meet on an as-needed basis.
Which I think is indicative of a sound zoning ordinance and sound zoning administrators, you know, catching things.
Mhm.
I think the most difficult one that I ever did was down in your neck of the woods. Somehow they mismeasured and they built a house and it was way, way too close to the adjoining landowners.
I know one that was done about 40 years ago, and Mr. Dillard did it, but the owner, the original owner still lived there, and they wanted to do an addition. And when they got the survey done, the line went right across his step on the side of his house.
Mhm.
We've got
So-
one brewing right now, but they're trying to sort it out between the two neighbors.
I hope they can.
I hope so too. I mean,
We're the kind of board that we'd rather not,
Yeah,
because we don't want people to have problems.
yeah.
her mobile home is quite a bit on the neighbor's property, but he said he's willing to help her move it. So
Okay.
they're hoping to get that settled amongst themselves.
Well, that's what, in the end, the adjoining landowner gave a variance and agreed to it.
Mhm.
I mean, the choice was to tear the house.
Right.
I mean, it was,
Right.
that worked out. And then I guess another kind of contentious one, Trip was with us on that one down on the line of Amelia and Powhatan in my district. And a man had just willy-nilly built all these shacks and sheds and never gotten a builder permit, never I mean, power line, I mean, it was the biggest mess you've ever seen. And we actually did make him tear a building down.
And people wonder why, if you're doing a deck or anything, the sanitarian has to come out and make sure you're not putting it over a septic tank. All of these rules have happened because people have done just what you said, but they would look at the builder like, why do you make me, why should we have to do all this? And, it's because of people that have done things just on their own. There are a lot of those down in our area where people have put their shed. One came to us and asked, what could we do about it? We didn't build a shed and we didn't have anything to do with it, but they knew Mr. Dillard knew something about, the building codes. But the shed was literally on the other property. And we said, well, you just have to make the complaint because bring their attention to it because it is built on your property.
That basically becomes a civil matter.
Yeah.
So I've been on it probably close to 20 years now, and
Oh, wow.
we just don't have a lot usually. And like I said, I give full credit to the county administrator's office and their people for doing their job.
Kind of the same with the one I was telling you about. I'm on the building code board
Mhm.
and we have a meeting once a year, and it's just like this we've had two complaints and neither one of them were terrible. One was a renter it was a tenant, and the owner of the property said the renter destroyed a lot of things and so but in order to live there, they were gonna have to fix them and to meet code, and it was that was kind of a big squabble mess, but
Yeah.
anyway, other than that, the only other one was settled and he took it to the Virginia state. And I don't know how, his outcome was the same as our decision, so.
But, I think things are changing in Amelia with the influx of what I call outsiders, the good old hometown, get along with your neighbor. And
Yeah,
that's probably going to be coming to me
Yeah.
with time,
Slowly.
Yeah, we can tell people have been trapped at home a little too long because within the last month or so, Patty and I have been running all over the county.
looking at
Complaints from
this.
neighbors. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Are they Old Town Amelia people or are they newcomers?
Amelia people.
Oh, God, that is bad.
well, I think David went out to the neighbor next to me and I didn't file the complaint I would like to have, but they bought the double wide and paid, we thought they'd never get, it was 130 listed and it was a 25 or 30-year-old double wide with the same roof on it, the same everything. I mean, the plumbing didn't work and the people got into a bidding war and bid $10,000 over they paid 140 for that double wide. And
Didn't have.
when they had this, punch list and the guy's like, oh, my dad's a contractor. We can fix that. We can fix that. Well, I think we found out why he needed to be out there because he put up a dog kennel and has 20 dogs that bark all the time. And David went out there. I don't know who reported them, but probably the people behind them, because I really feel for them. We're beside them, but they are literally in. And he said, they only bark when I feed them. Well, they must be hungry dogs because they bark all the time. And it's when one starts, they just go in unison and they howl and they howl. How they can stand it, I don't even know. It's a trailer and the walls are probably that thick because it's one of the old ones.
Right.
But
The dogs are hungry or mistreated.
they're not, oh my God, they're treated better than most humans. I mean, they have their own little house and their own little heaters and their own little, they breed the dogs and I think they're Tennessee Walkers. I'm not sure, but then no, they take care of them, but all you have to do is walk out in the yard and that sets them off and they bark, bark, bark. And
What are the rules on kennels?
no, there isn't any.
I was gonna say.
There's not any.
Right.
You can
Like
have,
in Amelia, that'd be very hard to regulate,
Yeah.
just with hunting dogs
Yeah.
and stuff. I think that'd be really hard.
and so, we just
not well
deal with it. But anyway, and we have a really nice screen porch we put on and we can't really even use it because for some reason they sense you're out there and that just tunes them up and they just bark. But anyway, That's the thing. You never know who your neighbor's gonna be, you know. People are nice. I mean, we've never had any issues with them. And we try to be good neighbors, but, you know, barking dogs, what do you do?
Another thing that a few years back, David Whitaker was telling us there are classes that you can take, but basically they're more for urban
Mhm.
areas, and he didn't feel that we would get a lot out of it out here. But your resources are, of course, Holly,
Uh-huh.
the building inspector. So, and I mean, and normally what I have done on all of my cases, I make a site visit.
Right. Well, David and Taylor went out there, and of course, the dogs didn't bark. And I think the guy smelled a rat because he was there, and I don't know whether he fed them right before they came and they were just good. But he just told them, he said, they only bark when I feed them. And I really wanted to record it sometime and just say, this is the time of day. It's 5 o'clock in the morning and they're barking. They're not feeding them. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's whatever time. We're in our garden trying to work and you have company and it's just but you know, we live in the rural area, so that's what you get, you know.
But the attorney, if you have something that's, the attorney has met with us before on other cases. So it's not like we're out here by ourselves.
No, if there are actual
Right.
cases, he'll be here.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
And he was very, very helpful
He's the best.
on that, one of those contentious ones. I mean, he pretty much, in an objective manner, told us what the law was.
Mhm.
And, you know, we hated to make the man tear it down, but he
Right.
had overtly ignored all building codes
Right.
and everything, and we just had
Wasn't
no.
it, were you involved, if I remember right, wasn't there a case on, don't know the name of the road, turns of Pine Grove Church going to 609 going into Powelltown? Wasn't there a case about a shop that was built down there that they finally had to make the guy tear down?
Yeah,
Because he built it taller than the house and was working on road tractors and all that stuff in it.
well, I don't think it was zoned for what he was doing.
Okay,
That there was
Okay.
a number of issues, but basically, again, Amelia folks would probably have said,
Yeah.
that
Right, but-
the family that had the house, they wanted him gone. And so when it all came down,
okay, so he didn't live there? Did he have the house, was it a house and the building or?
I don't know.
I can't remember exactly how it went,
I
but
can't remember.
I knew that
whether-
was in the paper for a little while.
I can't remember whether he lived in the house and sold the house but kept running the business. It was, the neighbors were just adamant they did not want that business there.
Right,
Gosh, that was probably like 98.
Yeah.
yeah, it was a long time ago. Yeah,
But that's a good example of what could happen
mhm,
in, you know, overt situations, just like what you're saying. You've gone over here and you've built a shed outside of all of the ordinances. The building inspector hasn't been involved, you know, you've ignored everything. You know, we do have the power to say, yep,
Gotta
tear
go.
it down.
Mhm.
And the only one that I was on that we made him tear down, it was a shanty. It wasn't like it was a nice building or
Right.
anything.
He had that thing moved in like 2 weeks.
It was down, wasn't it?
Mhm.
But I think he's built some more back
I think he
there. When the leaves fall off the tree, it's like, oh my God.
But he really did move that. I mean, it took like 3 months to hear the case. We heard it. And I don't know that we made a decision that night. I think we came back another night or 2 nights, like 2 weeks later, something like
Something.
that. And it was like, geez, from the time we had the first hearing to the time we made the decision, I mean, really, he resolved it very quickly after the decision was
I
made.
think he knew he was in the wrong. But most of them are just pretty simple
Right.
that I've worked on. So,
Okay.
okay, anything else?
Y'all
So
want to make a motion on the bylaws to approve the changes that Jeff proposed?
Everything in red is a change.
He's just, it's not a change. He's inserted, he hasn't deleted anything. He's just inserted sections straight out of the state code about the BCA. So he's not deleting anything that's already there. He's just adding additional.
So the one thing about the 30 days is a change.
Yes,
And
that would be a
that's
change.
in Article 3-7.
Mhm.
We are saying we're going to change that from 90 days to 30 days for formal notification to the zoning administrator of any decision we make. We're not changing any of the other dates. Was there anything in here at all, Holly, that you had concerns with?
Okay.
One question, does the Board of Supervisors have the power to override a decision of the BZA?
No, it's,
Because you all are
That's
technically
what I
a
was
legal
told.
entity.
yeah, that's why we have to go be sworn in. at the
Right,
Clerk's office,
right.
because we have
So
that
no,
power to
I'm
make.
not, no. They, for the most part, have very little interaction with the Board of Zoning Appeals, unlike the Planning Commission. They
Right,
obviously can override the Planning Commission, but you all are kind of your own separate entity away from that. So if someone had an appeal, obviously, it's not like they would appeal it to the Board of Supervisors.
where would it go from here?
I think at that point, it becomes a legal,
I think it does.
Legal?
yeah.
Court.
Well, what did happen on that case that I'm just telling you, we made him tear it down on. Just to let you know, it was in the paper the following week that two of the board members of the Board of Supervisors made comments. Basically, they were taking the side of the citizen and were angry at us.
After, yeah,
So there were some disparaging remarks. And the way I handled that is it was my representative and I called her. And she called me back and we had a very long talk and I explained to her in great detail what all we had been through to make that decision and that I didn't feel that she was fully informed.
right.
She couldn't have been nicer.
Right.
And that she
Wasn't informed
wasn't,
enough to make those
she
comments.
was not fully informed.
Right.
And I think she was very apologetic for that.
Yeah.
Other than that, I've never had any conflicts. So.
So are we comfortable? Everybody comfortable with them?
Yeah, I am, especially if y'all are that know a little more about it, because I'm definitely the greenhorn here.
Well, the secretary is going to be
Between the two of
you
them.
or whoever records at the meeting.
Okay.
Do you know whether we'll meet in the courtroom or are we going to move to areas like this?
For the foreseeable future, we'll be here. The courtroom there's a lot of stipulations on using the courtroom right now.
You can open that door.
Yes, yeah, that's what we do for planning commission. We open that up and, yeah. Yeah, so unless it's gonna be something very controversial where we think this might be a little tight, we could maybe use the high school, but I would anticipate meeting here.
Because you do have pros and cons and people have the opportunity to
To
speak.
speak, yeah, sure.
But most of our work is done prior to getting here.
Right. If you have that, do they sign up early so you know how many people you're gonna have
We've never been that
speaking?
formal.
Or since, we're in that situation where we could be limited for space. But
Well,
I guess if you had to, you could have somewhere outside or something.
Well, exactly, and that's what we thought we were gonna have to do back in the fall. We had some controversial things at board meetings and you could only have 16 people in the courtroom.
Right.
So
Right.
they were just asking people, they would go outside and ask
I
if
was-
anybody wanted to
I was there
speak
at one
on
of
the
those
topic. Right. So I don't foresee that happening with the BCA, but if it does, we'll troubleshoot that.
We'll deal with it, yeah.
this space would be adequate for anything I've ever done.
Right.
but you never know. All right, so we need a motion to approve the bylaws with section 3-7 amended to 30 days. Do I have a motion to approve as written with that one change?
I move to make that motion.
Second? Second.
Oh, I thought you said I second it.
No,
Sorry, I second the motion.
all those in favor?
Made the motion, I'm sorry.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, we'll accept this bylaws with that change.
Ashwin, you have any comments? Chairman comments? No comments? Anybody else have
Have
comments?
you given them copies of the zoning ordinance and all that?
No, I'll get that for you. We have a lot of changes. I've been instructed to do 2 ordinance amendments every month. So the ordinance is going to be changing very rapidly.
Is that because of changes in law, state law, or
They've just
just
changed.
things that need?
There's some things that need to be cleaned up. Our ordinance was written back in the 70s, so some things
Right.
are kind of outdated and we are growing. So to make sure we grow in a positive way, there's some things that just need to be cleaned up.
It's been amended since then because
It, no, it has.
10 acres, the 5 acres
Yeah.
and all
Yeah,
that.
some of the,
So yeah, I will send you all those.
okay.
Because you don't have one either, right? You don't have this in your ordinance? Okay.
Mm-mm.
Yep, I will send that to both of
That
you.
would be appreciated.
I mean, I've got a book, but it's probably from 2017 at this point.
Okay. So does everybody just need a new one at this point?
Probably.
Yeah, if you changes some stuff, it'd probably be good to just
Then-
everybody get them.
I'll do it up to date of what has changed as of today.
Right.
And then
Later, just some
I'll
of the
just send you
changes.
guys slip sheets just to,
I was gonna
Swap out
say, yeah,
pages.
don't read.
And I don't even mind if it, when it gets to that point, if you want to do it by email.
Yeah,
I don't mind printing a few pages of them with
Yeah.
my own printer and sticking them in there.
save the county
We're-
51 cents.
they're not.
Yeah, and the paper, and I don't mind.
Five.
Yeah, that's right.
That's good. Yes, I will.
Somebody to go to the post office and take them there.
That's right. Yeah. I
I'm
will-
trying to get a
I'll
little bit
send
more
that to
into
everyone.
the electronic page.
There we go. That's great.
I was forced to this because in December, I had to buy a new phone because I still had a 3G phone and they were going to stop supporting those
Yeah.
December 31st.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
Somebody want to make a motion to adjourn? If there's nothing further.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So how soon will you know whether that case is coming?